Welcome from the IIBA Tampa Bay, Florida chapter study group. This is March 2nd of 2023. This is our 68th study group class. Today we're going to go over the BABOK chapter 8 solution evaluation. Our mission here at the Tampa Bay IIBA is to bridge the gap between industry leaders with business analysts by building partnerships with professionals, educators, and employers so that we may empower, instruct, and engage the BA community. Our BA community spans the world. We are not limited to only the northern half of Florida, where our geographical boundaries are. We have members from all over the world, and we invite you to join us as well. You can reach us in a variety of ways. Today is Thursday. We are here at our normal study group time from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. You can reach our past meeting recordings at the address provided, and I'm sure Cliff will be dropping that in the chat if you need to get to it. We also have an IIBA site. We have 2 meetup sites, Zoom, Facebook, and 2 LinkedIn sites. So if you need to reach us, we're giving you a variety of ways to do that, including reaching us directly through the LinkedIn. As I said, this is our 68th study group. We've gone through all of the BABOK already, spending about 2 weeks per chapter until we got through all the techniques, and then we stopped and we went through a professional series, and now we are working on the BABOK again, 68 solution evaluation right here. Watermark Learning is our sponsor. They've given us free access to their practice test questions. In exchange, we are promoting them, and they have also given us a discount code. They've given us 20% off of any of their products if you put in the code TAMPA21. Our board is a volunteer-led board. You can see Cliff here in the Millennium Falcon. He is our president and master marketer. Lori is our vice president of finance. Caitlin and Priscilla are board members at large. My name is Thea Soren. I am the vice president of career and professional development. You can reach me through LinkedIn. In fact, I keep all of my professional communications in LinkedIn. We do need more board members. So if you're interested in contributing to the board to help the organization, so we can help more people, reach out. You can volunteer to do something you've never done before. You can volunteer to hone a new skill, or you can volunteer to do something that you're very familiar with. Give us, 2 hours, 5 hours, commit to being a permanent member of the board, whatever you want. We will put you to work for the betterment of our community. We are joined today by 2 people that make this study group legitimate for the IIBA to provide you educational credit. Bob Churchill, you see him there second below me. He has earned his CBAP certification. He's also earned a variety of other certifications. You see the letters after his name. He also has a fantastic website that you can go to. It is rpchurchill.com. And through that, he has not only things about business analysis, but also mechanical engineering, creating, I forgot what they're called, Robert.
Simulations.
That's it. Thank you. Simulations. I lost the word. Also, just a huge variety of other things. His view on the BABOK and the process of being a business analyst is a little bit more elevated than most people. So I encourage you to go check it out. If you'd like to contact him, he's given you his email address here. We're also joined by Yulia. Yulia recently in September earned her CBAP certification, and she did it with flying colors. And she has joined us being a second CBAP here to lend us credibility for certification. We do have 2 people that have been members of our study groups that have credited us with some amount of help in earning their certifications. Tish earned her ECBA back in August, and Yulia earned her CBAP in September. We are going to switch over now to the actual test questions. We're going to go to chapter 9. Let me minimize this. As I said, we use Watermark Learning. We're going to go through 25 questions of a drill, and we're going to look at solution evaluation. As you can see with Watermark, you can select just a single chapter to go through, multiple chapters, or all the chapters, whichever you want. So we're going to begin a new exam. So in case you're new, here's the format. I'm going to read the question. I'm going to read the answers. I'm going to ask you to tell me, are there any of these answers that just simply don't exist in the BABOK? The questions have to be answered according to the BABOK, regardless of your real life experience. So sometimes it's a little bit different. So tell me if it does not exist in the BABOK, and then tell me what you think the right answer is. I want you to also tell me why you think that's the right answer. The conversations that we have in determining what the right answer is help us all to learn. So we're not just, saying, well, they said it was that answer, and then you don't learn. What we want to do is equip you so that whenever you take the certification test, you have that dialogue in your head of, oh, that's right. There's that acronym that, Jim said. But let's start with question number 1. When would the techniques of process modeling, observation, workshops, document analysis, and organizational modeling have the most value when assessing enterprise-related obstacles to realizing solution value? Assess solution limitations, stakeholder impact analysis, assess enterprise limitations, or enterprise culture assessment.
I think D is not the answer.
Why is that, Jim?
It just doesn't sound like a thing, but it may be. And if it is, we're talking up here about process modeling, which is not a cultural assessment. It's a process, a sequential process.
I understand your answer there. So what do you think the correct answer might be?
Other people?
Assess enterprise limitations.
That's where I was going. Yep.
Okay, I've got 2 answers. Do we want to have a conversation about this?
Yeah, so I also think it is C, because the question is talking about assessing the enterprise related obstacles. So that is enterprise limitation.
Very good observation. Let's check this answer. Ooh, the correct answer was stakeholder impact analysis. All these techniques would give insights to which stakeholder groups or roles would be impacted by solution and in what way.
Oh, so the tricky part of this is the question said what would have the most value. So C is somewhat correct, but B is more correct.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. That is one of the challenges with this test. You have to pick the most correct answer. There may be 3 of them that are correct, but there's only one that's most correct.
I also generally believe the questions on the actual exam are a little more fair than that one.
Okay, so this is a little harder.
Yeah, that question was a bad one, to be honest.
Here is the situation. Kate is a BA working in a manufacturing company. The COO believes that current downtime of the manufacturing lines is excessive. He has done the math, and if downtime can be decreased by 50% per year, the organization could produce 7 million more in product annually. He has asked Kate to assess the current process related to downtime. So there's 3 questions. First one, where would Kate first focus her efforts? Kate should begin observing downtime-related activities in order to identify areas of improvement and build rapport with production personnel. Kate should first determine what existing performance measures exist and if they're accurate. Kate should complete benchmarking to ensure the COO's objective is achievable. And Kate should first identify the appropriate stakeholders and plan elicitation activities to brainstorm improvement ideas.
Benchmarking has to do with comparing your organization's capabilities to market sort of standards. And in the question, it says Kate's let's see. Well, the COO believes that the current downtime of the manufacturing lines is excessive. Now he thinks it can be improved. Does Kate need to validate that that's excessive? Or does Kate trust the COO?
So I think first they have to see whether the performance measure that has been used by CEO, is it right? Is it the actually problem?
Right.
And so B could be the option here.
But should she do benchmarking or?
So,
Yeah, I tend to agree, Rena,
Um,
the B, it looks good.
Yeah.
Other people?
He looks more like a front answer. Yeah.
Let's check the answer. And the correct answer is B. Good job, folks. Next.
So, I would think about this just as an aside. Figure out, what the COO is basing his metrics on, gather data and figure out who to talk to improve things. So that points to A and D a little bit. And also you want to talk to as many people as possible to find out what's actually going on, what the parameters are, what's already been done, what people are thinking, and so on. So it's an as is, but starting with the performance measures is the decent place to do an as is.
I agree. Okay, let's go to question 3. Same situation.
2.
Is it 2?
Yep.
You're
Okay.
on the right place.
Okay. Kate what else can you think that Kate might want to do as one of her first? I'm sorry, this one's already been answered. Let me figure out why it thinks it's been answered. Okay, well, this one, whenever I was trying to move down, it thought I was answering the question, guys. I apologize. The next thing Kate might want to do is Kate might want to elicit additional ideas for performance measures from stakeholders. So
Yeah,
she
get
first
the
checked.
expertise from the people who know.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's go into question 4, and I'll try not to answer it as I move down.
It's like all those answers are correct. You just got to pick the order in which
I
to
know,
do
but
it.
okay, let's try it again.
You know
type
what I
of
mean?
solution- Yeah. What kind of solution performance measures will Kate focus on primarily? Whatever is available and accessible, both qualitative and quantitative measures, or qualitative measures. And this is what she's going to focus on primarily.
I think C, quantitative measures, because we've already named 50% per year and $7 million more in product annually. So I think C is a better answer than B, because B says both and they're saying primarily. Other opinions?
You nailed it. This is what how I would break it down myself.
Okay, let's check this answer. And it is correct. Since the focus has to do with reducing downtime by 50%, the primary focus is on measures which are more numerical in nature. Awesome job. For the stakeholders that support analyzing performance metrics, which one can identify risk and provide insights into the data and potential value of a solution? A data analyst, a project manager, domain subject matter expert, or a sponsor? Analyze risk and provide insights into the data.
I guess we can filter out the stakeholder which is not in BABOK.
So
The
C,
data
I-
analyst is
yeah.
not in the BABOK
Yeah.
as a stakeholder.
But
Go ahead.
sponsor is the one who can provide insight into the data and potential value of solution. I think so. Is it sponsor?
the risks and provide insights into the data.
Support analyzing performance metrics. A sponsor wouldn't necessarily analyze the performance metrics. I'm thinking it's domain subject matter expert that would analyze the performance metrics.
Yeah, that's likely.
Project manager, no? Because
No,
project
because
manager is
project manager is
responsible for
managing
success.
Yeah, but they're not analyzing. We're talking about the performance
Data.
metrics of the system, the solution, not the
The
project.
project manager is typically in charge of the environment and the resources in
Yeah.
which and with which
Timeline.
the work is done.
Budget.
So they're not typically in this, in the BABOK, part of the analytical team.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so do we want to do project manager, domain subject matter expert?
Subject matter
C,
Okay, let's check
It
C.
better be seen.
sponsor, you serious?
Sir.
That's
Okay.
a garbage answer.
A27, let's look it up.
Well, it is asking, could identify risks.
Yeah.
So maybe we were thinking who can bring the data forward, and the question was asking who can identify risks.
There it is.
Ah, sorry, you guys, I steered you in the wrong direction.
You know what? This was a team steering and we did it to ourselves.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I was thinking about sponsor because sponsor is more about potential value on the stuff, and I thought that it's too petty task for sponsor to handle. That's why I also like discarded it.
Okay, something we learned tonight. Good job for all of us. Let's go to the next one. What are the guidelines and tools that are used for recommend actions to increase solution value task? So there's a task called recommend actions to increase solution value, current state description and solution scope, business objectives, current state description and solution scope, decision analysis, organizational modeling and risk analysis and management, or business objectives, change strategy, and risk analysis results.
Which ones of these are not guidelines and tools? Oh, this is always hard for me, the difference between guidelines and tools and inputs.
Mm-hmm.
So C is definitely not the answer because it's not decision analysis. These are techniques.
Mhm.
Yes,
Very good point.
And for analyzing, for recommending action to increase solution value, the inputs are solution limitation and enterprise limitation. So, okay,
So,
we are talking
okay,
about
so
guidelines.
we're talking about the guidelines and tools, not the inputs.
Yeah, so I think B, business objectives, current state description, and solution scope.
Actions to increase
Current state.
Do you have a second vote?
Yeah.
objectives, change strategy. and
I'm recommending
Mm.
the actions to
Yeah.
increase the solution value.
Okay.
Doesn't, I think risks might be, but I don't think risk analysis is.
All right, there is a correct answer.
So because risk analysis, well, risk analysis results,
Risk analysis
If
is a
you
technique.
Look at the
but the risk analysis
in
results
each
is,
section, you'll see it.
Recommend actions.
So
Yeah, but
there are
it's
5 sets of guidelines and tools, and one appears to match this list.
where's the diagram there? We'll look it up.
We're looking it up.
Just go down a
Current
bit.
state.
Oh, would
Hey.
it be up above that? Or business objectives, current state
So
description
there
and
are
solution
5 of
scope.
those.
A,
So Renu was right.
So it's B, right?
no,
Yeah.
no, it's current state. Excuse me. No, it's A, isn't it? Current state description and solution.
There are there are
There's 3.
Business
three
objectives.
Business
current state
objectives, current state
description,
description and solution scope. Yeah,
business
it's
objectives,
B.
current state.
I'm gonna just fail
yeah.
this part of the test. I just
Yep.
get confused between inputs
Yep.
and guidelines.
You will.
Is that, Yulia, is
figure
that
out a way.
rote memory? Is that just rote memorization?
Yes, yes, it really is.
I'm terrible at that.
Oh, some of
I'm
a
it
why
is
person.
the other thing, is that guidelines and tools tend to be noun. The techniques and other things tend to be processes or verbs.
Verbs, yep.
Good point. Thank you, Bob. Nouns and verbs, guys, that's the difference. Okay, what should not be considered when evaluating whether or not a solution should be retired or replaced? Necessity, sunk cost, opportunity cost, or future investment required?
This one everybody can get.
Please.
Sunk cost. It's sunk. It's already gone.
It's sunk. It's already gone. Yes, not a factor to be considered since the money has been spent and cannot be recovered. That becomes an emotional conversation for some people. Okay, you were assessing the effectiveness of a new governance structure that was just put in place as part of a portfolio management program. One of the complaints from stakeholders is that decisions take too long to make. You discover that approvals involve review from 3 decision-making bodies that meet monthly before obtaining final approval from the sponsor and portfolio manager. You submit a recommendation to simplify this process by eliminating some of the back and forth. How would this recommendation be categorized? Is this recommendation making organizational changes, avoiding waste, reducing complexity of interfaces, and identifying additional capabilities? What does the BABOK say?
B, avoiding waste is not an option here. That's not the answer. Avoiding waste is when you are not implementing the requirements which are not adding value to the solution.
Okay.
And D, identifying additional capability. We are not identifying any additional capability. So most probably it's making organizational changes. But I'm torn between A and C, reducing complexity of
C.
interfaces.
I was thinking C because
Yeah.
interfaces, and this is tricky, doesn't refer in this case, I think in the context to technical interfaces between systems, but
Not
interfaces
only, yeah, face to
between
face.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
let's
kind of
check C.
communication lines.
Very
Oh,
good.
but-
Good reasoning.
Without
long-
reading the book, I'd have gone with A, but I see why C is what they chose.
After a long and challenging project, Roger has to determine if an enterprise is able to adapt to or effectively use the solution. What does Roger need to do in order to accomplish his goal? Assess the enterprise structure, perform stakeholder impact analysis, conduct a cultural assessment, or conduct an operational assessment.
Well, this one is kind of easy. 2 we can eliminate right now.
Which 2, Yulia?
Cultural.
Enterprise structure is out.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe
Cultural
operational assessment is out.
Yeah.
So we are between B and C.
I
B
think
and D.
D can be the option, conduct an operational assessment actually. Because you are going to assess whether the enterprise is able to adapt and or use these solutions, kind of operational value.
But adapt is also means like if people don't like solutions, they are not going to adapt it. This is how I see it.
Why is cultural
Uh-huh.
assessment out?
True. Conduct a cultural assessment.
I didn't say it's out.
No, Jim, she said
Or
that
is it?
B and C are the only 2 that
I
she-
think
I
so.
got it. Yeah. I'm wondering if cultural is it to determine if the enterprise is able to adapt. To me, adapting is a culture.
To me
thing.
too. Yeah.
Okay, we
That's
got
what I'm
2 votes.
seeing.
Let's try it.
But it can be B or it's D. Renaud was right
Oh,
again.
Would have
What the
said,
hell?
Okay, we're looking it up.
You're already done. See if it
Which one was it?
If it doesn't work, if your people can't adapt to it, get new people. They're all candy.
The
Okay.
answer is D, E, can them.
No, that's not the answer.
Oh.
Okay, so conduct an
might be.
operational assessment is what it says, but this
Mhm.
says enterprise culture assessment.
Oh, no, it's number 4.
Oh,
Go
you're right.
down, go down.
You're right. Operational assessment. The operational assessment is performed to determine if an enterprise is able to adapt to, or effectively use a solution.
Okay,
That's
we need
exactly
to
what it
understand the difference between impact analysis, cultural assessment, and that operational assessment, because there are key words.
Okay, so
And
let's
it's
look at,
it's confusing, yeah.
But eventually you've got to have people use it, and that's the ultimate test.
definition, impact analysis and assessment of this affects a proposed change will only have on the stakeholders and stakeholder group, project, or system.
And when doing impact analysis, you consider functions, locations, and concerns.
Okay, in the interest of time, I'm going to go on to the next question. In order to obtain an ISO certification, an organization created a program management team. The team doesn't appear to be fitting in. Which of the following would be helpful regarding the assessment of this solution? Enterprise cultural assessment, organization structure changes, operational assessment, organizational structural changes, stakeholder impact analysis and operational assessment, enterprise culture assessment, stakeholder impact analysis, organizational structure changes, operational assessment, or organizational structural changes and stakeholder impact analysis.
So I think like culture assessment is related to the people, and organization structure is the structure, organization structure, and a stakeholder is concerned with stakeholders, and operations is operations. So in this case, the team doesn't appear to be fitting in. See, it's just the culture assessment. So enterprise culture assessment has to be a part of our answer. So that eliminates B and D.
Okay.
So another between A and C, the difference is of what is stakeholder impact analysis. So are stakeholders impacted by this ISO certification?
But they are impacted by the problem management team.
So then it's C.
I think it's D, dog. I don't know.
What do you
Because
think?
they're trying to obtain that that certification, right? So the question is, if they obtain it, are there going to be any changes in the organization? And like Renu said, the team does not appear to be fitting. It has to do with stakeholders. So there must be stakeholder impact analysis, because the certification may affect stakeholders, right?
Well, this one does have stakeholder impact analysis also. It also has the enterprise culture assessment.
But culture assessment is about culture of the company, beliefs, vision, all this stuff.
Well, I
Norms.
think the issue is about whether the problem management team and its structure fits in, and the ISO certification is a red herring,
I agree.
just a needless detail.
Okay, I need
Because
one more.
operational assessment, I mean, I don't think it's, I mean, C just has a lot, but it has extra.
It does have extra.
So, but yeah, I don't know. You never know with BABOK.
Yeah. Okay, let's pick
vote.
and see what we get. Okay.
Correct.
Yay. These are all elements contained within the assess enterprise limitations that would be extremely helpful when assessing this solution. They're all pieces of the puzzle in that they would each provide different but valuable information about this significant change. Honestly, if you have a management team, in my mind, they're going to be going around going, that's a problem. You're causing a problem. I don't like you. You know, your process needs to be eliminated. That would be a problem to start with. Okay, what is the difference between the roles of a tester and the BA regarding the evaluation of solutions? They are interchangeable. They need to negotiate roles and responsibilities on a case-by-case basis. The BA and tester are both typically responsible for identifying solution problems during a change, and the BA is responsible for assessing an existing solution outside the change. The BABOK doesn't suggest a delineation of responsibilities between these two roles for a solution evaluation, or the tester is typically responsible for identifying solution problems during a change versus assessing the existing solution outside of a change.
A is not the answer. So
Why do you
really
not think A is the answer?
it is not the answer. They are not interchangeable.
Why do you think that?
A business analyst comes in the picture in the starting, in the beginning, but the tester comes into the picture a little later. So they cannot be interchangeable.
Okay.
The BA assists with developing the requirements. The tester
Right.
doesn't, they test those.
Okay,
Test
so if it's not A, what is it?
Well, in theory, the BA should be or could be, and this will differ by situation, project, and organization, but should be ideally involved with the entire life cycle. The tester should be involved with the latter part of a life cycle, but will ideally should be involved through the whole thing so they can help plan out what kinds of testing are going to be done and necessary.
I agree. But what does the BABOK say the right answer is?
Does the BABOK actually suggest the delineation? Can we eliminate C?
BABOK does say that there's a difference between the roles.
Okay, so we've eliminated C, good. Tester.
And that's my belief. I could be wrong too.
Actually, I didn't read about the differentiation in the BABOK about tester and BA, so I'm leaning towards C.
Okay. Do I have another vote for C?
Could we eliminate B and D then? How do we eliminate B and D? So D is the tester is typically responsible for identifying solution problems during a change versus assessing an existing solution. I don't know that that's true. I think they would help. They could help in testing an existing solution. Remember, the solution, it could be one that's in the test environment. It hasn't been released to production. So I think that D is false. And then, so if we go to B, the BA and tester are both typically responsible for identifying solution problems during a change, and the BA is responsible for assessing an existing solution. I don't think this is true either, because the BA is the outside of a change is not true, because you may be assessing a solution again that's either in the test environment or a release of the solution you're going to put forward. So I'm thinking C is the answer.
Okay, 2 votes for C. Let's check the
I
answer.
think D.
Oh,
Yeah, D, if you look on page 177, it gets to it.
Yeah, as I said, tester is responsible for identifying solution problems during construction and implementation, not often used in assessing an existing solution outside of a change.
I think that's the tricky part. The outside of a change is what threw me.
Yeah, me too.
So what that speaks to is, like I tried to point out, it's hard to map that onto those particular options, that the tester really comes in at the end, and the BA ideally will be involved with the structure of the entire process. the entire engagement process through all phases. As a practical matter, you know that particularly for junior BAs, they may only be involved in 1 or 2 areas.
That's true. Okay,
Sorry,
Question?
Thea, can we
Yes,
go
go
back to the last question? I'm sorry.
yes, I can.
So why is B incorrect here? The option B, because the BA and tester are both typically responsible for identifying solution problem during a change. And the BA is also, BA is responsible for assessing. So the BA is responsible for both, right? So shouldn't that be the answer? It's just the tester who is not involved outside the change, but BA is involved outside and during the change.
Yeah, I think it's a horribly worded question, and you're onto something
An
there.
Okay,
existing.
I flagged that question so that they can look at maybe making it better. Thank you. Question 12. You have worked on a project to implement a new system. When the system was first deployed, it seemed to be performing well. However, as the transactions increased over a 6-month period, the application slowed to a level deemed unacceptable by end users. You have been asked to evaluate this performance. In order to get to the bottom of this, what do you need to have access to? The implemented solution and the result of the solution performance analysis, an assessment of the solution performance, an implemented solution and business objectives, or the current state description, the implemented solution, and the solution performance analysis.
The key is which task are we performing here, and then we can see the input to that task. So
Well, I
we
don't
are
think it's A. I don't think it's A because the person was part of the implementation of the new system. And they should know the solution then.
But what do you need to have access to? Do you need to have access to the solution? You know, the application or whatever it is?
I think
yeah.
the solution
Hmm.
performance assessment, at
Yeah.
least.
So I think implemented solution is part of the entire knowledge area. So whenever we are evaluating, the solution has to be there in some
Okay.
form. And since we are here talking about evaluating the performance, so the first step is knowing the solution and the objectives, if it is performing as per the objectives. So C, according to me.
Okay, I've got 1 vote for C. What else do I have?
The current state description.
I think you need to know the structure of the solution, so you need you understand what the performance analysis is actually measuring.
Yeah, some measures of solution performance, which is for which the inputs are implemented solution and business objectives.
Okay, let's check this answer and see what we have.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you're performing the assess solution limitations task.
Interesting.
The
D is out because it talks about the current state, which is where they started.
And
The
results of this.
implemented solution, which is where they ended in the analysis. So if you take out the current state and only look at the solution and how it's performing, that's what you need to know.
Okay, so we needed to be doing the assess solution limitations task instead of the measure solutions performance task. Which is odd because it looked like to me we were supposed to be checking the performance.
I don't even know a solutions limitation task. I mean, that's true. So you're finding out why it's not working, hence the limits, but I don't think of it that way. I
Yeah.
think only in terms of what's it doing and why is it busting?
Yeah,
And there are a lot of reasons for that.
gotcha. Okay, question 13. A bank recently began offering the ability for customers to take a picture of checks they wish to deposit and securely upload the photos via a smartphone app to complete the deposit. The bank spent millions of dollars to advertise this secure and time-saving feature as they were the first to market. However, 6 months after launch, less than 1% of the target market is using this feature. For the above scenario, here's 3 questions. What did the bank neglect to take into consideration? Enterprise limitations, cultural change, solution limitations, or the risk tolerance of stakeholders?
I think
So-
it's stakeholders, because the customers are the stakeholders, and they don't want, like, if I was a person, I was using that bank, I may not want to use that feature which is new and risky. So maybe
I
But
think that's
they're
an
not
assumption.
taking-
yeah.
I would say
yeah.
it's cultural change because I can't assume that it was a risk tolerance thing. I would just say that the change aspect wasn't considered.
I'd agree with that. Yeah. Because they're
Okay.
used to not using it. You got to advertise it. Yeah. Oh,
Hmm.
boy.
The last.
Oh.
one was right.
And risk tolerance
Risk
of stakeholders
analysis.
was correct.
So cultural change is more of for the employees of inside the organization. It's not outside the organization. Customers are outside the organization. They're external parties.
That may be true in the BABOK, but I would say this kind of thing, cultural change affects the users every bit as much. It's like Cliff said, they have to get used to it. There's so much inertia out there. And it's a function I don't even use that often. And I'm pretty darn techy.
Next question, same scenario. Anxious to persuade customers to give the new secure technology a try, what could the BA do to help determine the appropriate remedy? Workshops, risk analysis and management, stakeholder impact analysis, or survey or questionnaire? All techniques.
Survey, D.
Yeah.
Why do you like survey?
Just asking people questions and taking
Yeah.
surveys. I like doing that myself, just general questions.
I'll go with C actually. Stakeholder
Yeah.
impact analysis.
See?
What are the concerns? But yeah, to know the concerns of the people, you need to do a survey or questionnaire. So yeah, it could be.
So
Okay.
stakeholder impact. No, you've been right a lot. So
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And now
Okay.
it's D.
and it is D, sending a survey or questionnaire to members of the target customer segment would offer insight if the questions are developed carefully, which is a huge, huge thing to be aware of.
Because
Asking-
stakeholder impact analysis refer to more the company itself.
Okay.
Well, customers are definitely
But-
stakeholder and ultimately the most important. But what's great about surveys, if they're done right, again, is that it's a way to get a lot of information in a short amount of time.
Okay, the votes are in. Customers must trust the service and will not use it. The infrastructure costs over $500,000 per year to maintain. What will the BA most likely recommend? Maintain the infrastructure because the cost of rebuilding it in the future is less than maintaining it. Organizational change initiatives to promote trust and adoption. Retire the solution or identify additional capabilities of the service.
This one is easy.
B, organization change initiatives to promote trust and adoption.
Okay, I've got one vote for that. Do I have another vote?
C.
Yeah, it's B.
C cat for me. Because it's already sunk cost, I mean, they won't use it. And to pump more money into it, it's not a fact they're going to use it.
Yeah, either C or D.
Okay, I've got 2 votes for C. Let me check the answer.
Yeah.
The correct answer is C, retire the solution. That way we don't spend another $500,000 a year.
Yeah. The only problem with that is in the real world, you know, other banks are going to do that and use that
Yes, they
against you.
And
So
you
it's a
also know
competitive.
they've actually done this. It's out there. Banks do use it. And that's
Yeah.
why that example is goofy, because it flies in the face of reality.
It's true. If you know you're
Maybe
first to
it didn't
market,
5 years ago or 10 years ago, but it sure does now.
right. Okay, new scenario. Luis has been asked to complete a post-implementation evaluation of a new automated system that was recently installed. After reviewing the project and the actual performance statistics, he saw the actual performance was better than the metrics that had been defined, yet there were frequent complaints from end users and management about its usefulness. His final recommendation was that the system be eliminated. Which of the following might have been prompted this recommendation? Although the performance was actually better than the defined performance metrics for the solution may not have addressed the business need for which the project was undertaken and was redundant. Although the performance was actually better than the defined performance metrics for the solution, many of the stakeholders complained about the slow system response time. The original cost benefit analysis completed during project initiation was faulty in that it forecasted benefits were inflated, or although the performance was actually better than the defined performance metrics for the solution, the end users complained about the new business process that was put into place in conjunction with the new system. So the end users complained about its usefulness.
So A, yeah, so A could
A.
be A. Yeah.
I would go with A.
Solution does not address the business need.
Okay, do I have a second vote?
Yeah,
Okay, check the
Yeah.
answer.
yeah.
The scenario is rare, but possible. If we do our jobs, it's not going to happen often. Just prior to the
That's
launch
what
of the new
the
system.
requirements traceability matrix is for.
Yep. Just prior to the launch of the new system, Heidi is hearing a fair amount of grumbling from end users about the solution. Heidi recommends delaying the deployment of the system until she can perform an enterprise cultural assessment. The sponsor initially rejects that recommendation. What rationale might convince the sponsor to delay deployment? The assessment will review how widespread and deep the grumblings are so that communications can be targeted in a way so that stakeholders will accept the solution. The assessments will help the sponsor understand how the various stakeholder groups will be impacted so that the needs will be proactively addressed, thus paving the way to faster acceptance of the solution. This will allow the BA to identify which processes and tools within the enterprise will support the solution, or the assessment will save money in the long run.
A.
Why A?
Well, enterprise cultural assessment. So glad that you mentioned it before, but the internal culture of the company, how widespread and deep the grumblings are.
Okay.
So can it be B then? Like if they are dissatisfied, then their needs have to be addressed. Like what is bothering them? We need to understand what's bothering them,
Yeah.
how they are impacted, and try to resolve that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see B as well.
Which is right.
It's more positive also. You don't really want to go to your sponsor and say, oh my gosh, everybody's grumbling about this. And if I'm a
Right.
Yeah,
sponsor, I
and
say,
it's-
well, what are they grumbling about?
Yeah, not about the communications, it's about the impacted stakeholder groups. Sure. Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, let's check this answer. The correct
Oh.
answer was the first one you came up with.
I
Okay,
can't
I'm
believe
gonna
that.
say
I don't
this.
understand.
I'm gonna
I
say
don't
this.
think so.
Y'all take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
You're coming up with the right answer and then you're talking yourself out of it. I think that you might need to trust yourself a little bit more.
So what I remember that there is a very slim difference between impact analysis and cultural assessment. It's very hard to distinguish it.
Okay. Okay, we've got 10 minutes and more than 5 questions to go, so I'm going to zoom. An organization strategic vendor is having a year-end sales promotion on new software. The CIO is getting mixed opinions from his team and asks Amy, who is a BA, to objectively assess both the in-place and the new software and provide a recommendation. Amy finds that the functionality that would lend immediate value to the organization is basically the same. What might Amy do as a next step in her assessment? Complete a decision matrix to support her contention that features are basically the same. Submit the recommendation that supports the status quo since little or to no value would be realized. Explore how the additional capabilities in the new software could add value, future value, or complete a financial analysis to support how the cost would exceed the benefits.
I'd say A, let's do a comparison.
With the decision matrix.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got one answer. Give me another one, guys.
I don't like this question because I deal with cloud implementations and you don't get a choice.
You don't get a choice.
No, not with the cloud.
Yeah.
This is old world philosophy.
I'll go with A as well.
Okay, got 2 answers for A.
Oh.
The correct answer is explore how the additional capabilities in the new software could add future value.
Interesting.
Let's go over this chapter again next week and get better. Ben isn't sure that the data generated by the performance measures is accurate, so he's hesitant to take further action. What could Ben do to understand if he can rely on the data generated by performance measures? Analyze the data from several different aspects to ensure data integrity. Monitor the data for another month to see if the same results continue to be generated. Analyze the source of the data to ensure source integrity, or test the results to see if they can be repeated and reproduced.
D. Test the results to see if they can be repeated and reproduced. That's the accuracy
Okay.
part.
Anybody else like D?
I vote for D.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I say D as well.
Okay, check the answer. The accuracy of performance measures is essential to the validity of their analysis. Business analysts test and analyze data collected to ensure their accuracy and reliability. The results of performance measures should be reproducible and repeatable. Roberto is a BA working on a process improvement project. He has completed an assessment right before the new processes were scheduled to be fully deployed. The assessment concluded that a great deal of work will be needed to be done in order for the stakeholder groups he's been working with to effectively use the processes. He has found that no new policies have been issued, no procedures have been written, and little training has been done. What type of assessment is Roberto doing? Is he doing operational assessment, stakeholder impact analysis, cultural assessment, or technical assessment?
Operational? Is that even a thing? That is right in the BABOK?
Yeah,
I think
operational
it is.
assessment seems to be there because it's about the operational.
Yeah.
No procedures are there. There's no little training has been done. So he's doing an operational assessment.
Operational.
So I have, okay, let's check this.
Okay.
And it is correct. Operational assessments are performed to determine if an enterprise is able to adapt, and effectively use a solution. What are the guidelines and tools that are used to support analyzing performance measures, acceptance and evaluation criteria, metrics and key performance measures, data mining and root cause analysis, project strategy, implementation scope, risk mitigation, and performance analysis metrics, change strategy, future state description, risk analysis results, and solution scope, or solution performance analysis, solution performance measures, solution limitations, and recommended actions. Are there any of those that aren't real in the BABOK?
E, project strategy, and something in D, I think, maybe. Recommended actions, probably.
So you think it's between A and C?
A, acceptance and evaluation criteria is not a guideline in tool. So C is the answer.
Okay, do I have a second vote for C?
In the book.
Yeah.
And guidelines or tools are nouns, right? So change strategy, future state description, risk analysis results,
I'm
and
not
solution
sure
scope are all
actually
nouns.
looking at it, that's a really good delineation. So as I look at the inputs versus the guidelines and tools, they're all kind of all nouns. So in this case, I would say it's a good idea to look at the actual flowcharts, particularly the main one on page 166. There is no substitute for knowing these flowcharts. I swear I don't remember how I actually passed the exam based on the struggles we go through with these questions. And I
Okay.
know I spent a lot of time studying these inputs and outputs.
Okay, are we on measure solution performance task?
No, we are on analyze
Analyze.
performance measures. No.
Yes, analyze performance
Page
measure.
171.
Okay,
C.
That one.
here we are. Okay, guidelines and tools, change strategy, future state description, risk analysis results, and solution scope.
Yeah,
And
so
one
it's
of
C.
the options is exactly that.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
it. And she was right again. Hot dog.
Can I add something to the last question?
Sure.
Can we go back? So other reasons is that acceptance and evaluation criteria is a technique, so we can eliminate that. And then B, project strategy is no guideline, so that is also eliminated. And in
Right.
D, recommended actions is it's not guideline to any task. So
I
Yeah.
agree.
C.
It's too
Good
vague.
reasoning.
Recommended actions.
Okay, Lucas is a BA who is assessing a seemingly underperforming solution. What sorts of things can Lucas do to gain a thorough understanding of the potential value of what it was expected for this solution? Lucas can evaluate and understand the potential value of the solution by comparing key performance indicators of similar solutions. Lucas can understand the potential value of the solution by measuring its current performance. Lucas can assess the solution within the context of the enterprise's goal and objectives and key performance indicators, or Lucas can ensure performance measures are asking the right things in the right way with the right frequency. Are any of these not the right answer? I mean, not even in the BABOK?
D doesn't sound familiar.
It does not
That's
sound
right.
familiar.
Yeah.
I
So
would say C.
You like C as in cat?
Yeah,
Why do you like C?
because without looking at the enterprise goals and objectives, we cannot determine the potential value of a solution.
Okay.
that is the strategy, that is the strategy analysis part. Here we already have a solution, so it could be B. Look, so we are analyzing here.
A and B both mention potential value, but C does not mention potential value.
Yeah, we want to understand potential value. Okay, let's check the answer.
I think it's B. Oh, it's C.
It is C.
It was C.
The answer adds the enterprise goals and objectives, which is a more comprehensive answer. Oh, good. It says understanding potential value doesn't end here though. 8222.
Oh,
Okay. Let's see if we can get this finished real quick, guys. Finn is a BA working on newly implemented logistics process for a packaging company. He began gathering performance metrics on such things as how long a process took versus how long to get output from one area to another, defects in the output, duplicate steps, number of components, number of complaints, etc. The department supervisor complained to Finn that gathering these statistics was a waste of time. She says she would rather spend his time gathering requirements for automation to support the process. What rationale does Finn offer for his activities? The information is needed as inputs to a SWOT analysis for the new automation project. He is working to understand and validate the value that was delivered by the implemented solution. He needs to keep an eye out for defects so he can address them in a timely way to ensure customer satisfaction, or the gathered measurements will support the automation project.
The gathered measurements will support the automation project, because these metrics will help define the future value as well. Sorry, future state.
Okay, I've got one answer.
And he says gathering performance metrics on such things.
Okay, let's check the answer.
Oh, that's
Oh, he is working to
correct.
understand and validate the value that was delivered in the implemented solution. Gathering actual metrics that describe the performance solution in order to measure and analyze solution performance.
that's like current state analysis, hey?
Yeah,
Maybe that's why.
I think so. Okay, just out of time, guys. I'm going to keep going. You're a BA assessing both the solution and enterprise limitations that are prohibiting the end users from experiencing the full value of the existing solution. You have the results of the solution performance analysis, but you are lacking a description of the current state. 2 questions for this one. What sort of assessment are you able to perform without the current state description? You are not able to assess value from either the solution or enterprise perspectives without the current state. Solution limitations, enterprise limitations. You can assess value from both the solution and enterprise perspectives.
C, you couldn't assess enterprise limitations without knowing current state of the enterprise, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's B, the solution limitation.
So are you saying B is the correct answer?
Yeah, so what sort of assessment are you able to perform without the current state description? So we can do solution limitation.
Okay, let's try it. And that is correct. Very good. Next question. To complete a thorough assessment, you want to review any enterprise limitations that may be preventing the end user from obtaining full value from the solution. To this end, you need to gather any information related to the current state. What types of factors will you need to consider? Any and all solution limitation factors, including defect and constraints, a description of the current limitations of the enterprise, including how the solution performance is impacting the enterprise. The results of the solution performance analysis included collected measurements and any recommendations to solve performance gaps and leverage opportunities to improve value. Or D, all current environmental, cultural, and internal factors that may be influencing the solution limitations. What types of factors will you need to consider?
I'll go with D as in
Yeah.
dog.
So I guess any current, so you'll go looking for anything that's related to.
Okay, let's check that
environment.
answer.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry.
But it's right.
Okay.
Oh, because you're analyzing enterprise limitations, right? And those are all
Yes.
enterprise.
So our score today was 52%. I propose we do this again next week. And at this time, everybody read it twice. And every time they talk about a technique, go back in chapter 10 and read the technique so that whenever they ask about techniques, we'll have those answers.
Yeah, I have one note to share with you that I forgot to do before we started.
Okay.
That is, I'm actively working with my friend Lynn to develop the UI UX presentation. So
Oh, wonderful. So when we went through our professional series, we did not have anyone to kind of walk through what a UI UX specialist does. And Bob has a friend that is a UI specialist who teaches UI and UX. So that's exciting news.
Yeah.
I have had
We
several.
did have one UX presentation a while ago, and the recording is out there.
Okay, great.
But yeah.
Okay. I have had several recruiters contact me recently with job opportunities. I'm happy to put those on LinkedIn. But if anyone is looking for a specific job, if you want, remote only in a specific industry or whatever, or if you want introductions to someone that's in my LinkedIn network, contact me and I'll be glad to help you out. Okay, guys, see you next week. Hopefully I'll have my computer and my camera working better so it doesn't look like I'm being translated from another language. Have a great week. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you guys
Thank
later.
you.